When most people think of NASA, they think of space. The agency has carried out a variety of tests in the last few decades, easily becoming the most well-known space agency in the world. It's for this reason that many people look up to them, with some even going on to make it their goal to work for the agency in the future. Their years of experience and discoveries have left millions of people speechless. They've taken us one step closer to becoming a spacefaring species, something that many scientists the world over say is our destiny. Interestingly, with all these missions comes thousands of photographs, most of which don't include anything special. But if you spend enough time looking through them, it's said you may spot something mysterious. Amateur researchers have made it their goal to look through these photos to try and find these anomalies. Although this sounds like something that wouldn't get many results, you would be wrong, with many individuals saying that many NASA images contain mysterious objects in the background. It's these photographs that have caused some to question whether we're alone in the universe. One of them was this dark object that could be seen in the corner of an old NASA photograph. This photograph comes from the STS mission, also known as the Space Transportation System. In several of these photographs, these strange-looking objects can be seen close to the space shuttles, causing some to question what these things are. There seems to be no consistency with them, with some being disc-shaped, while others are triangular and pyramid-shaped. One thing that amateur researchers point out though is that they don't look man-made, saying that they don't think these objects are space debris. One UFO researcher said the following about these objects. What's become apparent in recent years is that many UFOs have been sighted in space. The live feeds have given us researchers a great opportunity to scan the area above our planet, and if you look at these for long enough you will likely see something strange. There's been many UFOs that have been seen above our planet, and as many have pointed out before me, to label all of these as space debris is just delusional. They need to be taken more seriously and researched." End quote. There's others who have suggested that these objects might be the infamous Black Knight satellite, a satellite known in UFO circles as allegedly being thousands of years old, and being placed above our planet with the sole purpose of watching humanity. Scientists have said that there's no proof of a Black Knight satellite, and that these are just made-up stories pushed by UFO researchers. They go on to say that what people are seeing is space debris, further saying that the area above our planet is littered with hundreds of satellites and other man-made objects. There's some who say that their trust in NASA has taken a hit in recent years, and this comes after a number of announcements. For example, one of these they point to is the moon footage. One significant mistake made by NASA was losing the original footage of the first moonwalk. NASA officials claim to have searched for these missing tapes since their disappearance. NASA have stated that the tapes were simply misplaced, but many people doubt this due to the vast number of tapes that must have been lost. The question is, how did they lose such valuable tapes? Before the tapes were lost, clips from the footage were broadcast on television. These first steps of man on the moon were an unparalleled achievement in space travel, and therefore it seems unbelievable that these tapes could have been misplaced so easily. Many theories were created regarding the whereabouts of the missing tapes. Some say they were hidden from public for security reasons, others say that they were really lost, and there's also some slightly more complex theories. One of the theories created by a community of people who don't trust the credibility of NASA state that these alleged missing files are hiding something, and so the space agency got rid of any evidence that was on them. However, in recent years these missing tapes were found. It's believed that more than 200,000 tapes of recordings were considered not important by NASA, and were demagnetized to be reused for other occasions, and therefore made their way to an auction. And NASA in turn purchased approximately 65 boxes of these tapes in an auction. Not knowing that the tapes had such important footage on them, The intern planned to sell the tapes on a television station, where they would have been recycled and used for new recordings. However, the intern then noticed a label on the outside of the boxes, identifying them as the Apollo 11 mission. The intern had heard the story of the lost tapes, and therefore found a way to play the tapes in order to identify them. Once they were confirmed as the missing tapes, approximately 2.5 hours of footage was recovered. As of right now, UFO researchers and scientists are at a standoff. One side firmly believes that these objects need to be investigated, while the other side states that there's no proof that these are intelligent objects. UFO believers hit back these claims though and state that in some cases these objects can be seen changing direction, and sometimes they can be seen speeding off at speeds that humans would never be able to match. It seems that all the time strange objects are being detected on live cams, there will always be those that will want further research to be done. One UFO researcher said the following: "The reason many UFO researchers believe that these objects are real is because of how NASA acts. When these objects come into view, the live cams are suddenly shut off. I think that if it wasn't for them doing this, people wouldn't be so interested. But because they get shut off almost immediately, it makes us question why they do this. What are they trying to hide that they'll go to the lengths of shutting down the cameras? More investigations need to be made into this phenomena." End quote. One of the greatest civilizations to ever have existed is that of the Maya. This ancient civilization is best known for their sophisticated writing, and in recent years researchers have been able to map out certain areas where this civilization lived. It turns out they were well distributed throughout northern Mexico and Central America. The Maya civilization was known for being one of the most sophisticated and highly developed cultures of pre-Columbian Americas. They were also known for their astronomical knowledge, art, agriculture, and mathematics. The Maya Empire was a strong one and had a lasting foundation that would see them fit for many years. However, during the 16th century, researchers noticed that they seemingly vanished. This civilization is perhaps best known for its calendar, that allegedly predicted when the world would end. The 2012 event was believed by some to be humans' last year on Earth. Allegedly, according to some, the calendar predicted that a massive event would happen during 2012. 2012 would mark the end of a 5,126-year-long cycle in the Mesoamerican calendar, and various theories suggested that a cataclysmic event would unfold, ending all life on the planet as we know it. Many different ideas were sent around as to how the planet would end, with one of the leading theories being that of a supermassive black hole that would devour our planet, or that several natural disasters would be set off all at once. According to various news outlets, scientist Paolo Taguigan tweeted the following: "Following the Julian calendar, we're technically in 2012. The number of days lost in a year due to the shift in the Gregorian calendar is 11 days. For 268 years using the Gregorian calendar, 1752 to 2020, times 11 days equals 2,948 days. 2,948 days divided by 365 days per year equals 8 years. End quote. Strangely, the account that originally posted that statement has now been deleted, which has caused some to question whether the person was just messing around, or was actually telling the truth. One person on Twitter said the following: "The whole argument makes zero sense. Why would we want to recalculate the Gregorian calendar to the Julian calendar? The Mayan Apocalypse is all about the cycle of Bactans." End quote. Another person went on to say the following: "I'm not even sure the tweets were serious. With everything that's happening right now, another disaster would make headlines. I'm sure that's why various news outlets posted the story in the first place. I don't believe that anything is going to happen, and I'm not sure why people are still getting hung up on this." End quote. Others believe the claims that are being made, with another individual saying the following: "I think there could be some truth to this. Perhaps the original comments were deleted because scientists were speaking the truth, and he was told to delete the comments in order not to cause mass panic. There's a lot happening right now in the world, and maybe these comments could have been a tipping point for some. I don't think we give our ancient ancestors enough credit, and I believe they knew more than what we do today." End quote. The most recent theory going around is that we read this ancient calendar wrong, and that the date the world is going to end wasn't actually 2012, but rather 2021. With one online user saying the following: "The calendar has always been read wrong. People don't understand that the true date is that of 2021, and not 2012. The numbers were the wrong way around. This can be backed up by seeing how this year is played out, and if you think this is bad, then get ready for 2021, because it's going to get a lot worse. We are just gearing up for something massive to happen. All the signs point to something huge playing out in 2021. This whole time we were reading the dates wrong." End quote. Other people have also said the following about this idea: "It seems weird how this theory was put forward during a time when bad things are happening. Perhaps there's some truth to it and we've been reading it wrong this whole time. I'm worried for 2021 now. Maybe the prediction will come true next year." End quote. As of right now, researchers have said this isn't the case, and that every few years new ideas are put forward to say when the world will end, but that none of them are true. Again though, this hasn't stopped amateur researchers from suggesting that something big is going to happen soon, and that 2020 is leading up to something much bigger. There's also been many interesting discoveries made around the Mayan civilization. Discovering the ruins of an ancient city surrounded by the sprawling plant life of a jungle is a fantasy that many of us had during our youth. There's something about uncovering the remnants of an ancient civilization that interests many of us. Many ancient ruins may still be out there waiting to be discovered, and since new technologies are allowing scientists more and more ways to find what was previously invisible, the possible outcome for future ruins discovered are looking more and more positive. One amazing example is the network of Mayan ruins discovered in 2018. The Maya people have been seen as a cornerstone of human civilization, with a deep and complex understanding of architecture, culture and religious practices that still amaze historians in the modern day. Yet nobody was expecting the extent of the discovery made in 2018, when over 60,000 Mayan ruins were uncovered in Guatemala. While archaeologists had already spent years mapping out the region known as El Zons, the development of LiDAR technology allowed researchers to create a detailed map of the area's surface, and they did this from above much faster than before. To give an idea of how dense the jungle is in this area, one archaeologist stated that one find was made within 150 feet, but due to the thick vegetation they'd never spotted it. The LiDAR technology shaved off years of the team's overall work, and it has uncovered an unbelievable amount of previously unknown Mayan ruins, including walls, moats, roadways and fortresses. Some of the most interesting finds from the discovery include a 7-story pyramid, and this was completely hidden by foliage, as well as an intricate network of raised highways that connected all the Mayan cities in the local area. These networks are particularly fascinating as they show signs of heavy use, indicating that trade between cities was frequent. Stephen Houston, a professor of archaeology and anthropology at Brown University, stated the following: "It's one of the greatest advances in over 150 years of Mayan archaeology. LiDAR imagery is a new tool that spots archaeological points of interest that would otherwise be invisible to humans. Using remote sensing technology, LiDAR uses beams of lasers pointed at the ground to create an image of the area's surface. The beams then bounce back and the wavelengths are measured, giving an accurate picture of what lies below. The find in Guatemala has made historians completely rethink what they thought of the Mayan people. Observing the thousands upon thousands of ruins, it could be possible that the civilization population was 3 to 4 times bigger than we once believed. Mr. Estrada Belli said the following: "With this new data, it's no longer unreasonable to think there were 10 to 15 million people there, including many living in low-lying swampy areas that many of us had thought uninhabitable." End quote. Although this discovery is incredible, researchers have their work cut out for them, as the El Zot site is likely to house more than 3,000 years of Mayan civilization. This means that many of the finds may be from completely different periods in Mayan history, and it will take a long time to accurately study and catalogue each and every one of them. Still, it just goes to show that there could be an untold number of things waiting to be discovered in our planet's jungles. Space is one of the last unexplored frontiers. It will likely be a place that humans never fully explore. With that being said, we've done a great job at studying many of the celestial bodies that reside close by. One of the most fascinating ones is that of the Sun. The Sun sits at the centre of the solar system, and is credited as being responsible for many important things. As stated on NASA's website, "Nothing is more important to us on Earth than the Sun. Without the Sun's heat and light, the Earth would be a lifeless ball of ice-coated rock. The Sun warms our seas, stirs our atmosphere, generates our weather patterns, and gives energy to the growing green plants that provide the food and oxygen for life on Earth." End quote. One of the more well-known things about our Sun is its incredible size and its temperature. It holds the title for being the largest celestial body in our solar system. Scientists have said it contains more than 99% of the total mass of the solar system, with the largest planet Jupiter containing just 0.2%. This giant is responsible for holding the solar system together, with scientists saying the Sun is around 110 times the diameter of the Earth. This means that over 1 million Earths could fit inside the Sun. Although the Sun is an incredible force, researchers have said there's billions of them throughout the Milky Way galaxy alone. Recently, the Sun has been featured in the news, and this is because people are pointing their telescopes at it and watching it on live feeds. What's captured people's attention in recent years is the strange anomalies that seem to make themselves known close to the Sun. In recent times, NASA has come forward and said these are nothing more than anomalies, and that sometimes strange shapes appear due to processing errors. But amateur researchers don't believe these explanations, and have gone on to give their own theories for what they think they are. The most recent image that's making the rounds on social media is this one, and it shows what appears to be a large object close to the Sun. Those who have seen the image have given a variety of possible explanations, with the most common ones being that of a giant UFO to it being a solar flare. One user said the following about the image: "This is just another in a long line of objects that have been seen close to the Sun. It seems that every other day one of these objects is spotted. The frustrating thing is that they never get investigated. They just get brushed under the carpet and given the label of space debris. How many more of these objects need to be photographed before they start to get taken seriously?" End quote. Another user said this: "It does seem odd that so many of these objects are seen close to our Sun. The thing that makes me question them though is the sheer size of them. These objects are massive, being the size of our planet or bigger. So I can understand why people are skeptical about these types of photographs, but then perhaps we are looking at this wrong. Maybe we should have a more open mind when it comes to things outside of our planet." End quote. As mentioned before, amateur researchers have said that one of the best places to capture UFOs is that of the Sun and Moon, saying that many strange unidentified flying objects are photographed here, and that the majority of these remain unexplained. When these photographs are captured by NASA or other space agencies, they usually say the reason that these anomalies come up is because of processing errors, and in reality there's nothing there. As of right now, UFO researchers think these crafts have been visiting our Sun for years, and even suggest they may be using it as some sort of portal, or that the sun could be some type of fueling station. NASA has said the following about these anomalies. Ever since launch, there's been a number of people who've claimed to have seen flying saucers and other objects in SOHO images. Although some of these supposed pictures of UFOs can seem quite intriguing, they've always turned out to have quite an ordinary cause when examined by experienced scientists. Recently, we've been receiving so many questions and claims that we'd like to set the record straight. We've never seen anything that even suggests that UFOs are out there. In the past, we've been accused of covering up UFO evidence when we present our explanations, and refusing to comment or clamming up when we give up on somebody who wants to accept our explanations. While we don't expect to convince everybody, we hope that our pages and links can provide some information for the curious who want to investigate the claims on their own. Most commonly, UFO claims are due to perfectly natural flaws or artifacts in our publicly available data. Some of the things that people are seeing are planets, cosmic rays, software glitches and debris. Another NASA official said the following about these claims. The majority of these alleged UFO sightings can be easily explained. One of the things that people see is space debris that's made its way in front of the cameras. When these pieces of debris are up close, it can look like an unidentified flying object. In reality, people are just seeing a common piece of space debris. Others, though, don't buy into these explanations, and say that so many of them are captured and each time they're different, with one person saying the following. I understand that NASA is trying to bring some sense to these photographs, but many of them are just too interesting to ignore. Some of these have been noted as hovering close to the sun for several hours, before it can then be seen making a slow exit. I definitely agree with NASA that some of these objects are things like space debris and camera anomalies, but it does seem very unlikely that every one of these is just debris. People who watch the sky have also reported seeing similar looking objects, so perhaps the UFOs that are seen on our planet and the ones that are seen close to the sun are linked. End quote. As of right now, NASA and other space agencies have said these objects don't need to be investigated, and that all people are seeing is just space debris. Amateur researchers, though, are convinced that something is going on. With space being so vast, could there be advanced crafts that have the ability to approach our sun? Or are we simply misinterpreting these objects as something else? So what do you make of this mysterious object captured close to the sun? And what do you think it could be? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.